the breaking news of the morning. And I guess probably a lot of you are going to sit here. There's going to be a lot of maybe applause. I look forward to seeing that in the chat if you're watching on YouTube. But that's right. You heard it here. After how many years, Will?
38 years in Congress.
So
and
since
20
I was
terms.
since I was one and a half, 2 years old
was when she was first elected in a special election.
So headed towards almost 2 years old. That's right. From San Francisco, Nancy Pelosi has announced she will not seek re-election. Now, she's probably got a couple years left.
Next year.
Next year, one more year.
Remember,
Midterms.
we have the midterm elections
we have a midterm
next
coming
year.
up next year. So she'll make it almost to 40 years.
That's right. So it'll be her 39th year in Congress. She was elected in a special election. So her 20th term is what she is in, but she was not in for a full term there.
I wish she could have made it to the 40. You know, like when someone retires, they're like, come back and be a Yankee for the night.
Yeah.
Freddie, come over.
I see, yesterday you were saying, I wish Zoran Mandani well, and today you're saying, man, I just wish she could have gotten 40 years. I think 38 years in Congress for Nancy Pelosi, America's had enough.
I like round numbers. That's really what it is. Peter Ducey talking about he just chatted with President Trump. This is moments ago.
I just chatted with President Trump about this breaking news that Nancy Pelosi will be leaving Washington. He tells me the following, and this is a quote. The retirement of Nancy Pelosi is a great thing for America. She was evil, corrupt, and only focused on bad things for our country. She was rapidly losing control of her party, and it was never coming back. I'm very honored. She impeached me twice and failed miserably twice. Nancy Pelosi is a highly overrated politician.
Yeah. I mean, that is,
no one can say it like he can.
I mean, you say it like an angry, ex-girlfriend online, just being just mad that your former boyfriend went to jail. I mean, that's kind of how it feels. It's like this, he deserves it, here's why. The quote was, the retirement is great, evil, corrupt, and only focused on bad things for our country. We disagreed vehemently on all topics. That's what, a normal politician would say.
About him,
people wanted to
truthful.
hear, she impeached me twice, failed miserably, which she did. Impeach him twice, and of course, look what happened. He was reelected president of the United States by an overwhelming margin.
It does leave a power vacuum in Washington, D.C. for many reasons. Even though she no longer was in her leadership role as the party leader, the minority leader in this case, as they don't hold the majority of the House, but previously twice as Speaker of the House, the only female speaker in our history was Nancy Pelosi.
That's pretty wild.
It leaves a power vacuum. You remember, that image of her tearing up the State of the Union. You also think of how much power she wielded in Congress in being able to negotiate with the Senate and get things done for her agenda, as well as she was the major factor in pushing out President Biden, who she had a long-term friendship with and long-term relationship with, when he was running for re-election in this past election cycle. Even though she was no longer the leader of the party, she was still de facto leader of the party. She wasn't necessarily what Hakeem Jeffries is, where he's going out and making all the statements. But this is a lot of power that will be opening up for, you will see jockeying for position within the party, within the House of Representatives, with her presence gone. That's where the big question comes. Not just in that primary in San Francisco, because that will be a new member of Congress. They won't have the power on the committees and things as much.
They won't have 20 terms behind them.
But what you will see in Congress is who's stepping up to fill that power vacuum. Will it be a more clear-headed, moderate style Democrat? No. What you're going to see is those forces within the party, the AOCs, the squad type, rush to fill the power vacuum within Congress by taking over internally the mechanisms. Because Nancy Pelosi's legacy, beyond legislation passed and beyond being the Speaker of the House, is the way that she commanded the control of her party in the House of Representatives.
Yeah, American
and that's
icon.
Things you don't even see in the public eye. You see things reported on, but it is a big hole in Democrat politics on the Hill.
I mean, clearly she it seems to at least partially controlled the presidency at that moment.
Exactly.
I mean, you got to think that is not something small. So, of course, this is going to be interesting to see who steps in there.
Maybe her last act of leadership within her party,
a Netflix deal,
will be something where you see a mass exodus of people who have maybe been in Congress way too long. That's been a complaint about career politicians from many people. That's where even you can somewhat blame or credit that system to what gives rise to someone like President Trump, an outsider, someone who hasn't spent his entire life on government payroll, being a public servant. And I think you can also point to what is so attractive to young people about someone like the new mayor of New York. Take away all the policy. It is the way he talks is about doing work for the people. Whether or not his policies are grounded in we know they're not. They're Marxist policies.
Right.
They don't work.
But
They're failed experiments.
You're talking to new blood.
But you're talking to people who didn't grow up during the Cold War, didn't grow up seeing all these failed experiments. And they're hearing someone talking that has never been a public servant. He's very young and is talking about putting the government to work for people. Now, I believe and know that conservative ideals and ideology and programs and policy is better for people when put in place and done correctly. And the Republicans have a big problem about being able to talk about it in a way that people will understand that free market economics and that our liberties that we hold so dear in our Constitution is the government protecting those. And when they are, it is for the people. It is a government working for that. But when you have people like Nancy Pelosi that are 85 years old currently, that she's taking that step to say it's time for me to retire, will there be a sea change where on both sides of the aisle, you see people move forward and say it's time for me to go, and then it gets fresh blood in there, young people who can maybe speak better about how our ideology, our values are better for the people and getting government back to work for people instead of the other way around.
Yeah, I think you will see that. A new wave, a new generation of people who understand how to talk to the online audience, who really understand, who grew up in the internet age. You got to think when she joined the Senate, there was still a decade away from when most of us, or its House, most of us had internet in our homes. I mean, that's just the truth. That's where we're at. And she's just now stepping down. But now you have, like you said, the New York City mayor being someone who is quite a bit younger than us, grew up in this generation. I sent Will a video last night ago. This is one of the reasons he won. It was, hey, answering questions from your conservative family members. And it was very compelling. It was not anything I agree with, but I watched it and said, this is how he did it.